Covering our counties this morning in Greer, a young child with cancer has a brand new custom play set. Ann is 4 years old and is battling leukemia. And the Rock Solid Foundation is giving him a way to keep his spirits up. The organization says that when these kids are diagnosed with cancer, it can be very hard for them to get out and play in a safe environment. They hope that the new play set will change that.
A lot of these families, they don't know where to ask. They don't know what, a lot of the time they're overwhelmed. So we just want to be a guide for them and a guide for the community to build some hope. That's all we're doing here. Yeah, we got a play set going on. We've got a lot of things happening. But at the end of the day, we're building hope for Ayan and their family. And we're giving him a germ-free place to play. And that's the biggest thing here.
This isn't the first time that the foundation has helped upstate kids. Just last week, they gifted a Simpsonville toddler a custom play set as well. And as many of you are getting ready to head on back to school, we're right there with you.
We're collecting school supplies for local students who need them. You can drop off markers, pencils, and other back-to-school items at our 40 Ingalls locations participating in the drive, or right here at the Fox Carolina Studios. We're off of Pelham Road. The last day to donate is July 29th. We're 4 days away from that. At the end of the supply drive, supplies like the ones you see here on your screen will be given to schools across the upstate and western North Carolina. Again, we're talking pencils, rulers, scissors, glue sticks, so many items that our students in our area could use. You can visit our website, that's foxcarolina.com, or scan the QR code you see right here on the left-hand side of your screen to see that list of participating drop-off locations. And we want to give a big thank you to everyone supporting our school supply jam.
Well, we know that many companies are collecting school supplies for students in our area. Harley-Davidson of Greenville hosted a back-to-school bash and a supply drive yesterday. Not only were they accepting donations, but it was a family event as well, as they had inflatables, free food, drinks, all that good stuff. Organizers say that they hope that they collect enough supplies before the school year.
So we are just here collecting items for our book bags. Our book bags are stuffed, full of all the school supplies everybody needs. So hopefully we're getting pencil boxes and notebooks and book bags and all that good stuff to give away in 2 weeks.
Some of the items they collected includes notebook paper, pencils, and boxes, and of course crayons and markers as well.
Well, today's talkers at 8:56 want to tell you this. A Missouri man's strange hobby could help him break a world record. James Bacon started collecting clovers during the pandemic while walking on various trails. He kept finding the plants, a 9-leaf one, one with 7 leaves, and 402 5-leaf clovers, but that's nothing compared to his collection of 4-leaf clovers, marking in. That totals more than 3,400. But it's his 6-leaf clover collection that he's hoping will set a record. Right now, the record is 27, but Bacon has gotten 43 verified by experts, and Guinness still needs to verify the collection before it's official. All right now. 8:57, it can take hours to cool down a beverage in your refrigerator, but the makers of one device say they can get the job done in just minutes. We'll find out if it really works coming up live at 9. See you back here in a few minutes. To Atlanta area and had a boat day with a good friend of mine on Lake Lanier.
Beautiful place, huh? committed to you. Fox Carolina, the morning news starts now.
Leaders in Spartanburg have a lot of big plans to develop the local economy, and they're meeting today to discuss what's ahead. We'll have a preview of that coming up in just a few moments. And all new this hour, after an upstate school started a play club to help students connect socially, a new study finds another positive impact. We'll tell you what researchers say they found. But right now, we do want to take a moment to say good morning. Happy Monday. I'm Ashley Garrett.
And I'm Margaret Burnquist. Thanks for being with us on the Morning News at 9. You know, when the Carolina Panthers start showing up in Spartanburg for training camp, everybody's going to be watching. We're going to be watching. We'll let you know kind of what to expect there. And I guess expecting heat and more humidity and showers.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Brian, you're saying it's a triple H kind of day, hot, hazy, humid.
Oh, yeah. All three, and all three all week, you know. So it's kind of turning into like a 24/7 thing out there, really, as it's been most of the month. You know, nothing that's too atypical, of course, of July weather. Just, you know, more on this kind of same steady weather pattern. Live look outside from Harley-Davidson of Greenville this morning. Sun's up, and skies are a little sunnier in the upstate today. You do see some high clouds drifting into our skies. Those clouds are a bit thicker in parts of the mountains, but still at least some veiled sunshine for you there. Already back up to 80 degrees, Greenville and in Anderson right now. 77, a very popular number from Spartanburg to Gaffney, all the way southwest to Abbeville and Elberton. And everybody in the mountains now punching through to the 70-degree mark, so getting a nice warm start out there for everybody. But of course, it is still quite humid. Most dew points low to mid-70s, and they're going to hold that course until there's a possibility that we get some slight humidity relief later on in the work week. On First Alert radar, you can see some of those thicker clouds we're talking about from Asheville and Hendersonville onto the north and west. While it is generally sunnier across the upstate, we'll be watching for more scattered showers and thunderstorms to flare up this afternoon, some of which could be packing some heavy rains, especially in the mountains, as highs upstate top the around average low 90s and mid to upper 80s coming your way in the mountains. Much more on this final week of July. All of that coming up in a few minutes. But now 9:02. Here's Chris with your last check of the morning roads.
Yeah, it's been a good ride time to work throughout the day today. We haven't had too many things in the way for you. We have a couple of accidents in the Greenville County area right now and picking up a stalled vehicle too over in Spartanburg County. The accidents here in Greenville are in Berea, Old Dunham Bridge Road and Dogwood Lane, and also another one at Parker Road around the Lily Street area. As we move over into Spartanburg County, we have a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane. I normally wouldn't show you the stalled vehicles. This one happens to be on 85 North after exit 80 at Gossett Road. So anybody traveling Spartanburg County right in toward Cherokee County, you may want to be alert for that one around the exit 80 area. Our south and northbound lanes of 85 here at Pelham Road, where we normally see brake lights and backups, all moving at a good pace.
All right, Chris, we thank you so much. All new from overnight, we've learned another earthquake has rattled the Midlands, folks. The earthquake was reported last night near Elgin, which is about 30 minutes outside of Columbia. The latest quake measuring at 2.3, which is the most powerful one so far this month. Both the city of Elgin and Lugoff have experienced a string of quakes in the last few months. We're keeping you up to date on gas prices as well, as lower demand continues to bring those prices right on down. The national average is now $4.35. That's according to AAA. South Carolina continues to have the lowest average nationwide at $3.86. Georgia's average, $3.88. Meantime, North Carolina, you're still above $4 at $4.02. Here's what's new this morning. Economists from around the upstate will come together to give a mid-year update on the economy in our area. And Fox Carolina's Lindsay Gibbs is live in Spartanburg with what's in store. Lindsay.
Hey, good morning, Ashley. We're here at USC Upstate, aware that Voice of Business Brunch is going to be taking place here in the next couple of hours. Now, this is being put on by One Spartanburg. They're going to have an economist come in and really talk about all of those hot topics like rising interest rates, inflation, and overall economic growth here in Spartanburg. But this event is really going to be led by Chief Economist Joseph Von Niesen from the University of South Carolina Darla Moore School of Business. Now, along with the hot topics like inflation being discussed, we can expect an early economic outlook for 2023. A part of that outlook includes a newly announced business park between Cherokee County and Spartanburg County that will bring new jobs to the area. And we actually spoke to Councilman David Britt about what this will mean for the people in our area as well.
It's going to explode in growth. And again, what that will do for the folks out in the Cowpens area, as well as that side of Cherokee County, all these companies that are moving in will give hope and opportunity to the residents, because there will be fantastic jobs coming there, great companies, and that's what it's all about. It's not about tax dollars. It's about hope and opportunity these jobs bring.
Right now, around 20 people a day are moving into Spartanburg, and we actually did get a media release about 5 minutes ago saying that they hired a new person to really boost tourism in Spartanburg as well. Today's event, that's going to go on from 11:30 until 1 p.m. here at USC Upstate's campus. Of course, we do plan to bring you updates on this inside of our Fox Carolina News app. For now in Spartanburg, Lindsay Gibbs, Fox Carolina News.
9:05 now, and the event that brings a lot of business to Spartanburg is kicking off tomorrow. Lots of excitement surrounding this. The Carolina Panthers will arrive at Wofford College for training camp. This will kick 13 days of action-packed fun for the entire family. We've listed some of the big dates you want to keep in mind. You see them there on the right-hand side of your screen. The team arrives tomorrow with the first day of practice set for Wednesday. The annual Back Together Saturday plus an evening practice will take place this Saturday. Also, Fan Fest is set for August 11th. In all, Wofford will host 12 total practices that are open to the public.
Well, new this morning, the YMCA's I Can Bike Camp is getting underway with the mission of helping those with disabilities learn how to ride bikes. Fox Carolina's Jarvis Robertson is live at the YMCA this morning with those details. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Margaret. You know, the camp is off to a good start. They started at 8:30 this morning, and the campers, they are having a good time. So in the last half hour, I spoke with the organizer about the event, but today, this hour, we have somebody new and special. This is my friend, Miss Pat Harden. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Welcome to I Can Bike.
So you've been volunteering with the program now for 5 years. Tell us why.
Well, I'm a retired teacher, and I got into this. I didn't know a thing about I Can Bike. And because I can see progress, and I like children, and I just love this volunteer job.
I love that. Seeing the kids learn how to ride bikes, and I guess, you know, fulfill some type of gratitude within themselves. How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel that and know that I'm very blessed to be able to do this. And to meet the parents or whoever bought the campers here, that's been a wonderful experience too. It's life-changing for them. And I'm a big cheerleader for Eastside Y, and this is one of their premier events. That's how I advertise it.
So you have that experience of working with kids and being here, seeing the kids learn something new and seeing that light bulb moment for them. What's that like?
Well, it's just been amazing. I've heard parents say this is life-changing for us. I've seen them after 3 days, they'll be out in the parking lot riding their bike, and that's just amazing because a lot of us just learned to ride bikes, and these kids have been challenged in ways that I never honestly thought about till now. So it is really, there are no words to tell you how amazing this really is.
I love that. And another good thing that I want to point out, you mentioned that even in previous years, you guys have had campers come from different states.
Yes, we have. I know that one came from Charlotte. I know from one came from up in the mountains somewhere, and this is one of the few places in the United States who host I Can Bike. So people travel from many miles to come here to bring their children, and I think that in itself is quite a story.
I love that. So the camp is going until this coming Friday. They're going to have multiple sessions throughout the day. Unfortunately, registration is closed, but those who are coming, they're definitely going to have a good time. Margaret, Ashley, back to you.
A lot of fun out there. Thanks, Jarvis. That's a great one. And experts say there's an innovative idea that was developed at one upstate school that's really working. Central Academy of the Arts in Pickens County started a play club back in 2019. It allows students to have daily unstructured playtime separate from recess. Researchers from Long Island University have studied the program over the last 2 years. They found a significant uptick in math and reading grades for students who were participating in Play Club. Leaders at Central Academy say they started Play Club to help with social interaction and mental health. And these results show, quote, play is vital to help foster the whole child. That's what their findings are now. Well, it can take hours to cool down a beverage in your refrigerator, but the makers of one device say they can get the job done in just minutes. But does it really work? We're going to find that out. And T-Mobile customers could be entitled to some settlement money. We'll let you know about the huge case. And then legal cases involving death require extra compassion and attention to detail. Up next, we'll want to work with an attorney who has experience identifying all the available insurance coverages. live look for you as we head to break over Clemson on this Monday morning. Hope your day and your week are off to a good start. You're watching Fox Carolina, committed to you.
The following segment is sponsored by Smith Injury Law and 300hurt.com.
You hate to imagine how a deadly accident or one causing serious injury would impact your family. Calling an attorney is probably the last thing you want to do, but it's an important step. Attorney Richard Smith is here from Smith Injury Law to talk about that. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Margaret.
If the unthinkable happens, if your loved one, is killed in an auto accident or serious injury, why is calling a lawyer right away so crucial?
Because it could be a liability question, number one, and we have evidence involved in a case like that, and we have experts that are standing by that we can get and send out to the scene right away if we need to, because the last thing you want to do is to lose that evidence because you're not thinking about it at the time, and it's a very tragic thing, but sometimes the evidence can be lost, skid marks, that kind of thing, impacts to the vehicles, and sometimes actual evidence of like a tire blowout or something like that can be lost if you don't get that evidence quickly.
Yeah, so the sooner the better. And most people really aren't that comfortable with end-of-life planning in general, but you say it's really important to be proactive in that department too.
It's always important because you need to make sure that you've got your estate taken care of by way of a will or by way of a trust. Especially if you have a large amount of assets, you especially need a trust for that or a will, because if something happens and somebody is killed in an accident, we need to make sure that it goes to that any benefits go to that person that you want it to go to, and not just to the intestate statute.
Yeah, you don't want any more confusion during this already complicated process. And if the unimaginable happens, if somebody's loved one is killed in a car accident or trucking accident, you really cannot expect the insurance company to simply pay their limits, can you?
That's correct, especially if you have a large amount of limits. If you've got a trucking accident, for example, or something where there's a large insurance policy, you have to actually prove the value of that person's life, not just based upon how much they meant to you as an individual, but their economic evaluations. You have to call experts. You have to do all that kind of stuff on a large case. And if it's not a large amount of policy, you still may have defendants that you can lose, or policies that are available that if you don't, properly investigate those things, you could lose it.
And because you know exactly what to look for, you told me about a case where you were able to find an additional $1 million in coverage. Tell us about that.
Well, this is a case involving a one-vehicle accident in which the vehicle was also pulling a trailer, and we were able to identify that the trailer was also insured separately, and we were able to bring a claim against that particular insurance policy, which, without an attorney who was experienced in personal injury, that family would never have gotten those benefits.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about the fact that cases involving death require extra compassion, extra attention to detail, and you also help with probate. What does that entail?
Whenever somebody's killed in an accident, it's required to be court approved. It's called a wrongful death settlement. It must be court approved, and we have to help draw up the papers for that, get that ready, and there's also some decisions to be made whether you want to pursue a survivalship action or a wrongful death action. There's complications involving any case involving a death.
Yeah, and it's good to have some guidance along the way. At Smith Injury Law, your practice areas include personal injury, workers' compensation, car and truck collisions, and Social Security disability claims. Anything else you want people to keep in mind or just know about doing business with you in your practice?
The main thing is to understand that we're here to help you, especially in your greatest time of need. We don't want you to have to be focusing on these legal issues when you're dealing with the grief of a loved one passing away in a terrible car accident. And sometimes there's a lot of evidence that can be lost, especially on a prox liability case. If you have a tire that goes flying off the road, or a tire explosion case, for example, you need to get that evidence before it's lost. So things like that can happen if you're not focused on those things, and nobody would be focused on that. That's the last thing I'd be thinking about as well.
Right, and that's why they want to partner with you and work with you on this. People can contact you, 300-HURT, or visit 300hurt.com. Richard Smith, Smith Injury Law, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Margaret.
Now your Fox Carolina First Alert weather.
9:17 now the time here on your Monday morning. Hope your day's off to a good start. Hope you had a great weekend. And as far as the weather is concerned, take everything we had over the weekend and just keep rolling it straight on ahead into the new week. Here's a look out over Clemson this morning, where there's some hazy sunshine coming on down over Tigertown right now. It's a warm and humid start to the day, already up to 87 degrees. And when you factor in that high dew point of 72, it already feels like 80 degrees. I know that's a subtle heat index for now, but we'll put a little more distance between the actual temp and the real feel as we head into this afternoon, as we get even hotter temperatures coming on in. On First Alert radar, though, while the high clouds are a bit thicker in parts of the mountains this morning, it is sunnier upstate. But now we're watching for some of this activity you see in parts of Tennessee near the Knoxville area. Those are some hit or miss, obviously, showers and likely some embedded thunderstorms that'll eventually start to trickle their way into the mountains as we approach midday, and then more likely to bubble up here across the western Carolinas as we head into this afternoon and evening. First Alert radar showing a cold front snaking from the Ohio Valley back into parts of Missouri. That boundary is, like last week's, going to slowly make some progress off toward the south over the next few days. It'll help to support some showers and storms today, tomorrow, all the way through much of the upcoming work week here. But today's major concern that we have out of any of these storms, not really entailing severe weather itself, but more the potential for some torrential downpours. Next 24 hours here on Future Track, we go from this mix of clouds and sunshine this morning to those pop-up, isolated showers and storms beginning around the mountains at first by noon, becoming more widespread, especially in the mountainous areas through about 3 o'clock this afternoon, with some isolated activity here and there in parts of the upstate. All of that will persist well into this evening through the commute, so watch out for some heavy downpours or some leftover, maybe even localized flooding on your way home later this evening. We'll then quiet things down again later on tonight before re-ramping up into more storms tomorrow afternoon. And like I mentioned, severe weather itself, damaging winds, that kind of thing, not a huge concern for us out there today. Biggest issue we may face from the storms, especially in the mountains and the foothills, is the potential for excessive rainfall that may lead to some localized or even flash flooding in a few spots. It's a more isolated possibility in the upstate too, so everybody really just needs to make sure you stay weather aware. Consistently with highs in the 90s through the next week here in the upstate, barring Sunday, of course, and each day featuring that possibility for at least some isolated to scattered storms. And same story in the mountains, with your highs running consistently in the 80s. Ashley?
All right, Brian, we thank you so much. It is 9:19 now. Got a question. Was Mighty Thor able to reign at the box office for a third straight weekend? In a word, nope. David Daniel has early estimates, though, for this weekend's top 5 films.
Top Gun Maverick flew down to 5th place. $10 million gave the long-awaited sequel a domestic total of $636 million. $10.3 million put Where the Crawdads Sing in 4th place in its second weekend in theaters. Minions: The Rise of Gru slipped to 3rd, but made $17.7 million for a domestic total of $298 million.
God of Thunder, King Kong.
Thor: Love and Thunder is up to $276 million domestic after a second-place weekend worth $22.1 million.
Someone above the clouds. That's big.
How big?
Big.
Moviegoers said yes to Jordan Peele's latest twist-filled thriller, Nope. Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer star in the film, which debuted on top with $44 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
9:20 now, and coming up, we'll have the latest on the president's battle with COVID and the White House diagnosis for the economy. Plus, South Carolina taxpayers are set to get some of their money back, but how much is still up in the air. We'll tell you why when the morning news returns. It is 9:23, and today is the time to celebrate the ultimate food pairing. It is National Wine and Cheese Day. The celebration was created to challenge us to try wines and cheeses and new combinations. And in the hot summer weather, experts suggest going for something light. They suggest you try a fresh cheese, which is soft and spreadable and often consumed just a few days or weeks after it was made. And that pairs well, they say, with a crisp white wine.
A crisp white wine. Then if your fridge is not stocked, how quickly can you get that Sauvignon Blanc cold? One product claims to get the job done in just minutes. So in this week's Does It Work, Rachel Heckbarth is putting the Cooper Cooler to the test so we can find out.
Blackberry and a button. Whether using an ice bucket or refrigerator, it takes Jennifer McDonald at least half an hour to get a bottle of wine cooled down for her customers. For $96.99, the Cooper Cooler promises to rapidly chill a variety of beverages in only a few minutes. For this test, we're focusing on the product's wine chilling feature. It should only take 6 minutes.
I think that for people who are wanting something simple and an easy way to chill wine, this could be the solution.
We're given our Cooper Cooler and this power cord.
So that goes here.
The instructions say we need to pour 2 16-ounce cups of ice water into the machine. While the cycle time varies depending on which drink you choose to chill, the amount of ice water you'll need to use stays the same.
And now we have our water, so we're going to dump the water in.
After placing our bottle inside of the Cooper Cooler, we select the wine function.
Choose your beverage, so we're doing wine.
But this is where our test hits a roadblock.
It doesn't want to do anything. What is going wrong?
That once flashing light shuts off. We press every button and try all of Jennifer's outlets, but our Cooper Cooler still won't turn back on.
All of these lights right here should be red.
Like it was earlier.
Like it was earlier.
After multiple failed attempts to get our first Cooper Cooler back up and running, we emailed the company and told them about our issue, and they sent us a replacement within just a couple of days.
There we go, we got it.
Picking up where we left off, our second Cooper Cooler looks the same, but Jennifer finds it's acting much differently.
Is select wine and then start.
Oh, yay!
Yay! I'm now seeing how this works. So it's pulling the water up through this spout here, and then it's turning the bottle. Stop. So the bottle's cold.
It is?
Yeah, the bottle is cold.
With our spin cycle complete, Jennifer says this gadget worked just as well as an ice bath, but with a much shorter waiting period.
If you have room for this gadget on your countertop, that it could definitely save you time.
And even though she believes her first Cooper Cooler was what she calls a lemon, Jennifer says this Cooper Cooler works.
This one does.
And could really come in handy when you're in a time crunch. For Does It Work, I'm Rachel Hackbarth.
Now you know, Ticketmaster does get a lot of complaints about high prices, and now the company's responding to angry Bruce Springsteen fans. I'll tell you what happened. Plus, the Mega Millions jackpot just keeps on growing. We will update you on how much cash is for grabs. You're watching Fox Carolina, committed to you. 9:30 on the nose. We're back on The Morning News on Fox Carolina, live on Wall Street, where that opening bell has just signaled the start of trading for this Monday. Twitter is reporting a quarterly loss as that company tries to force a sale. The social media giant posted a $270 million second quarter loss on Friday. Revenue fell 1%. It could play into the legal battle between Twitter and the billionaire Elon Musk. Musk wants to bail out of a $44 billion buyout offer. Twitter's taking him to court to force him to buy the company. T-Mobile has struck a deal to settle a class action lawsuit over a 2021 customer data breach. That agreement includes $350 million in claims, another $150 million for security technology, but it does not include any admission of responsibility by the company. T-Mobile admits there was a cyber attack last year. It is thought that 76 million customers had some records exposed. Final court approval of the settlement is expected in December. The Mega Millions jackpot is now $790 million. That would cover it, wouldn't it? The fourth largest jackpot in game history. The pot went up after no winner came forward with a winning ticket matching all 6 numbers in the latest drawing. It's also the largest because there has not been a winner in 3 months. The next Mega Millions drawing is set for tomorrow. You can watch it right before our 11 o'clock news here on Fox Carolina. We send it over to First Alert meteorologist Brian Bachman for another look at the forecast. And I don't know how lucky you feel to keep telling us about the heat and the humidity and the storms.
I mean, at least it's nothing if not consistent in our weather out there, certainly over much of the last month here. And we're just going to keep that rolling straight on into this week. More heat, more humidity. And hey, a nice start here with a live look over Lake Hartwell this morning. Looks like some of the boats there may be starting to get out there and get out on the water for a bit today. If you are going to be taken to the lake, make sure that if you're out this afternoon, you're keeping a watchful eye on the skies for any storms that develop. We're up to 80 degrees, Greenville and Anderson right now, 78 in Toccoa, Clemson, Lawrence, Elberton and Hartwell at 79, and low to mid 70s now in the mountains. In fact, heating up pretty quick, 76 in Hendersonville, Bakersville 75, and Asheville at 73. On First Alert radar, we have some high clouds thickest over the mountains right now, but still some hazy sunshine breaking through, a much sunnier sky across the upstate. Starting to see some hints of some light showers breaking out on the southwest side of Knoxville. Those are likely the precursors to similar showers and storms that'll begin bubbling up in the mountains closer to midday and then continuing into this afternoon. Also keep an eye out for isolated storms in the upstate this afternoon and evening as well. We'll see highs peak in the low 90s and then get cooled off a little bit by those passing downpours later this afternoon. Most highs in the upstate mountains, I should say, today should make it into the mid upper 80s before any cooling impacts from the storms, but once they bubble up around midday, they'll have some kind of a presence pretty well into this evening. Much more on your forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Brian, we thank you. Right now it is 9:33 on your Monday. President Joe Biden spends another day in isolation today as he continues to recover from COVID. The administration, though, is also concerned about the health of the economy. And as Doug Luzader reports from Washington this morning, they are expecting some bad news this week.
Well, the White House is clearly laying the groundwork for some tough GDP numbers this week as the president continues to isolate.
I'm feeling much better than I sound.
This is the last time we saw the president, sounding a little hoarse on Friday during a virtual meeting. His medical team says he is making progress.
He had a good day. He worked a little, rested a little, finally listening to some of us on the advice to get some rest.
For the country, though, an economic recovery may be farther off. New GDP numbers come out on Thursday, and if the economy shrank again during the last quarter, that would mark 2 consecutive quarters of decline. That is the rule of thumb for a recession, but the administration says no.
Even if that number is negative, we are not in a recession now.
Others are not so optimistic, including former Obama economic advisor Larry Summers.
I think there's a very high likelihood of recession when we've been in this kind of situation before. Recession has essentially always followed when inflation has been high and unemployment has been low.
And speaking of inflation, the Fed meets this week, and they are widely expected to raise interest rates to help bring prices down, making borrowing more expensive for all of us. And while the president does continue to isolate today, if he tests negative for COVID, he could reemerge as early as Wednesday. In Washington, I'm Doug Luzader for Fox Carolina, The Morning News.
9:34, people in South Carolina will get some extra cash later this year, but it's not clear Exactly how much? As part of the budget, South Carolina lawmakers decided to return $1 billion to taxpayers. But according to the state newspaper, the Department of Revenue cannot determine how much each person will get until all tax returns are received. The deadline for people who filed for extensions is October 17th, and leaders say taxpayers could get as much as $800. That's some good news. Ticketmaster has issued a rare response to customer outrage over ticket prices. The company introduced a dynamic pricing model for Bruce Springsteen's upcoming tour. This led to some seats being listed for as much as $5,000 each, prompting backlash from fans online. Yesterday, Ticketmaster responded by saying those sky-high prices only represented about 11% of tickets that had been sold, and the average price so far has been $262. Tickets for Springsteen's February show in Atlanta will go on sale this coming Thursday.
Coming up on 9:36, we're helping you plan ahead for some shows coming to the Upstate this year. Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith will bring their Christmas tour to the Peace Center this November, something a lot of people want to plan for. Those tickets start at $50 and go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And here's one for the little ones. Peppa Pig's Adventure is coming to Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium on November 10th. The musical follows Peppa and her friends as they go on an exciting camping trip. Tickets start at $25 and are on sale for that one right now. Proper tax planning might mean a lot more money in your own pocket when you're retired. What you'll want to know about that next. A live look for you over Tryon as we head to break on this Monday morning Wine and Cheese Day. Hope you're doing something to celebrate. The Morning News continues right after the break.
The following segment is sponsored by North Star Financial and Retirement Planning.
In some cases, proper tax planning can save retirees a significant amount of money, and yet many people in or nearing retirement don't bother to get into the weeds when it comes to their tax situation. Joining us now are George Fossing and Zach Jenkins. They're part of the team at North Star Financial and Retirement Planning, a local area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. George and Zach, also popular radio show hosts, joining us here in our studio this morning. Hi.
Good morning.
First, how much can proper tax planning really save a retiree?
More money in your pocket, less to Uncle Sam's. Substantial. It's a big deal. If somebody has a 401k or IRA, these tax-deferred accounts, they got big targets on their back. And the IRS is waiting for it. So the more these things grow, the bigger they get. Right now it's down a little bit with markets, of course, but it's a big deal. Uncle Sam is waiting.
So plans and strategies need to be in place.
It's a real deal.
Yet a lot of people just overlook the tax planning. Is it for lack of knowledge, lack of resources?
It's not fun. It's like getting a will done.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'll do it next week. The taxes are like,
Put it off.
We get it. Except when it comes down to this, when you're done with the final object, which is more money in your pocket, you're taking that money. I think you could spend your money better than Uncle Sam. What do you think, Margaret?
Guaranteed.
Okay, and I think our viewers are the same way. Would you rather take it on a trip, a cruise with the grandkids, a boat, as opposed to writing that check out to Uncle Sam? And we could save as little as $4,000 up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on your situation.
Yeah, it could be life-changing. And you
It
talk
is.
about, you know, that taxes could be going up in the future. So what do you want people to know as this feels overwhelming for folks?
Well, if you just look at some of the stats out there, right, you've got $31 trillion worth of debt, whatever that means to you. You know, there are several things on the docket, you know, that Congress is discussing making changes to. For example, Social Security benefits and how those might be looked at and taxed. You know, the other would be just tax rates going back to where they were before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So in 2026, they're set to revert back to where they were before 2018. So, you know, if you find yourself right now in an effective tax rate of 12%, well, if that goes up to 15%, now you're paying 25% more in taxes. So by getting ahead of it, it can save you a lot of money in taxes. And as George said, the idea is for you to keep more of your retirement funds and pay the government less.
So talking about some of those steps, there's some things we could do to get ahead of it. What would you say about the steps to potentially lower our tax impact before we go?
Well, the big thing is looking at what they call a Roth conversion. Roth is a type of IRA where you pay the taxes, put it in there. So you can take it from your IRA or 401k, pay Uncle Sam what they're due. You control it, though, how much you're going to pay them. And then you put into this tax-free IRA, which is called a Roth IRA. Tax-free forever, all the growth, everything. It's like it didn't exist. Uncle Sam is out of the picture out there. And, you know, Fox viewers, pretty conservative folks out there, think Uncle Sam gets enough, right? We're the same way. So we want to put as much in our clients' pockets as possible. And it's something, it's life by design or life by default. The government program is default. Design is you taking action today, being proactive, learning if you're a candidate for these tax saving strategies. I guarantee you most people are.
Yep.
And they're in a better place.
And I'm sure your message is getting across. You're talking to these people watching this who are trying to figure out if their particular situation makes them a good candidate for these tax strategies. And for the most part, there's something you might be able to do.
Well, we say this stuff over and over and over again. At
For a
least
reason.
once or twice a month. This is the topic on the show. And, you know, you show somebody an analysis where maybe you can save them $300,000 or $400,000 over their, you know, lifetime in retirement. That's a big deal. Otherwise, that money would go to Uncle Sam.
Yeah, it's financial health. I like to have been saying the past few weeks that you need a checkup for your financial wellness.
Yeah, well, we're advisors. We do investments and such. We talk a lot about taxes. Why is that? We should be just talking about investments. It all works together because it's more money in your pocket. Protect it from the government, protect it from market losses, protect it from healthcare costs. This is what you work for, and you need to have a plan.
Yeah, and these are important conversations
I
to have,
believe
so we
so.
appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret.
And for those of you at home, if you're currently retired or getting close to retirement, you'd like to learn more about how you could potentially reduce your future taxes, as well as help to protect and grow your hard-earned savings and investments, North Star Financial has a great offer for you. Right now until September 18th, they're offering a complimentary, no-obligation investment portfolio and tax planning review. This will allow their team to schedule a phone call, video call, or future in-office meeting so they can speak with you personally and provide you with a roadmap going forward. The number to call now, area code 864-309-8146.
Now your Fox Carolina First Alert weather.
Time now 9:44. A good Monday morning, everybody. So far, so quiet out there across the western Carolinas today. High clouds for the mountains right now, while it's been a largely sunnier morning across the upstate and into northeast Georgia. heading into the rest of today and really the rest of the week, it's more of that same late summer, typical kind of July weather, hot, humid, and afternoon chances for storms, like these little hints of activity that is with some showers that are bubbling up on the southwest side of Knoxville. Those are some precursors to showers that'll begin bubbling up around the mountains as we close in on lunchtime, and then more kind of garden variety pop-up showers and storms as we head into this afternoon and evening. We watch a cold frontal boundary back over Kentucky and the Ohio Valley, sinking slowly southward over the next few days. As that gets closer to us by Wednesday and Thursday, it looks like we'll eventually try to give us a little bit of humidity relief, that is late in the week, but at least for the next few afternoons we got a slightly better chance at scattered storms because of the presence of that front. So the next 24 hours here on Future Track, there's your mix of clouds and sunshine, but dry conditions continuing into the 10 o'clock hour. Noontime, we start to see those isolated small flare-ups like we were seeing just southwest of Knoxville a moment ago on First Alert radar. Then as we head into the afternoon, they'll become much more numerous across the mountains through about 3 to 4 p.m. with some isolated downpours and rumbles of thunder popping up in the upstate. We'll continue on that same general track through the evening commute tonight. So while it's not a guarantee that everyone's going to be dealing with rain as they make their way home, you could see some leftover wet roads, you could see some heavy downpours during, and some of the storms today, just because they'll have a greater potential to produce torrential rain at times, keep an eye out for some localized flooding that may occur in parts of the area too. We quiet down then again during the overnight period and then just put everything again on repeat as we head on into our Tuesday. Going poolside today, good way to cool off. Highs in the upper 80s to low 90s, but keep in mind, you'll have to watch out for those afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms bubbling up. Highs staying consistent in the 90s through Saturday here in the upstate before going back to the upper 80s by Sunday with those daily chances for scattered to isolated storms. Mountains also staying in the 80s all the way through this final week of July with those continuing chances for storms for you each day too. Let's get back over to Ashley.
The following segment is sponsored by Power Swabs.
Today we have a very special segment for you. It's an easy way to look younger, healthier, and feel more confident. If your teeth are yellowing due to coffee, tea, red wine, or smoking, you'll want to pay attention. Our friend, lifestyle expert Amy Vanderoff, says a wider smile can actually make you more attractive and visibly take years off your appearance.
Hi, Amy. Yes, I can help with all of those things. Who doesn't want the biggest anti-aging hack? That is what Power Swabs delivers.
Yeah, and I know you've got a really fun Would You Rather test, too, to share with our viewers about their smile, and it really shows how yellow teeth can affect your looks and possibly even your love life, right?
Yes, so many people aren't smiling using their teeth, maybe because they're insecure of their aging yellower teeth. We show digitally altered photos with men and women alike to see who would you rather hang out with? Who looks more vibrant, confident, healthier, and fresher? Who would you rather kiss? Who would you rather date? You know, it just really demonstrates how whiter teeth can just make you look, again, younger, but also just more approachable and healthier.
Yeah, and people watching these are always wondering, is Power Swabs really that quick and easy to use? You brought some clips from actual users, and here's what they had to say.
I've smoked, I've drank coffee, I drink red wine. It makes my teeth darker. And using Power Swabs, it's made a difference. People ask me, what do you do to whiten your teeth? And I'm really proud to tell them that I use Power Swabs.
When I use these whitening strips, I noticed when I would drink, I would get this crazy sensitivity. It would go right to my brain, and I'm like, I hate this. So why do I have to go through the monstrosity of this pain just because I want to whiten my teeth? With Power Swabs, there was zero sensitivity.
So avoiding that painful sensitivity, something Power Swabs users really appreciate. A lot of people who cannot go without a cup of coffee in the morning know there's going to be some staining too. So how does Power Swabs help with that?
Well, Power Swabs helps with all of the things you just mentioned because it's a two-step process. The first step, we're hydrating the teeth. That's why you're not receiving painful sensitivity. And we're also lifting the stains off because we are human. We'll indulge in coffee, chocolate, tea, red wine, and the like. And then the second step is where you go in and whiten. It's very easy, less than 5 minutes a day. It's just a swab, so easy, no rinsing, no spitting, no unpleasant taste. When you do the less than 5 minute process, up to 2 shades whiter in that first application. When you use Power Swabs for 7 days, up to 6 shades whiter.
It makes a difference quickly, and in cases when people are trying to improve their appearance, for the most part, you know, they end up waiting for results, but you say with this, they're going to see results from the very first use with Power Swabs, and they don't have to use it every day either, right?
Yes, that's so important to mention because it's less than 5 minutes a day. No gunky trays camping out in your mouth, no painful sensitivity, and you see results right away. Again, up to 2 shades whiter in the first 5-minute application right out of the box. So yeah, it's instant gratification. It truly is one size fits all because it works on natural teeth like mine, but also artificial surfaces like caps and crowns and veneers.
Well, now tell us this. There are so many other whitening products out there. So what makes Power Swabs different? What makes Power Swabs stand out?
The biggest innovation here is it was created by a dentist to really address the issues of concern when it came to teeth whitening in the past, addressing lifting off the stains first, addressing hydrating the teeth so you don't have painful sensitivity, and also putting in a great package where, again, there's no unpleasant taste and it can work so quickly. Up to 2 shades whiter in 5 minutes is so remarkable. And once you use Power Swabs for 7 days, you're done.
And you make it look so easy because it is. So before we go, tell us about the special offer you've got for our viewers today.
Yes, so after the 7-day process, you're going to need a quick stick. This we're having included in your order for free today. This is your maintenance tool so you can have that bright white smile for many months to come. We're offering Power Swabs at 40% off plus free shipping as well.
All right, well, we've got all that information on screen now. I know people are going to want to try that. Amy, thank you so much for showing us how easy a brighter, whiter smile can be.
Thank you.
Coming up on 9:54, we wanted you to know you still have time to take part in the Fox Carolina School Supply Jam, and we can use your help. We have partnered with Ingalls to collect school supplies so that students and teachers across our area can get the school year started right, started with confidence that they've got what they need, right? Drop-off boxes are located at more than 40 Ingalls stores across our area, along with our Fox Carolina studio. You can scan the QR code that you see on screen right now. That's where the full list, everything we need to collect will stay in our community. You can see all that information there, and we do appreciate your help, whatever you can give. An online hotel booking site is giving thousands of dollars to pay somebody to visit retro beach motels.
Ooh.
Do that, right? You just document the fun on social media, and they want to see what you got going on first. So Hotels.com holding a contest ahead of time. They're looking for the retro beach motelier. It's a fancy topic that shows that you love a retro vacation. The winner is paid $15,000 to visit the booking site's top 10 best retro beach motels across the U.S. $10,000 for travel. $5,000 is the salary, the expenses you need. Questionnaire is on Hotels.com until August 5th deadline if you want to try to be that person. So you don't get rich, but you get rich in experience, and you
Absolutely.
get to see all that.
And
Doesn't
going to
sound
the
so
beach,
bad.
that's one of my favorite
All
things
right.
to do ever. I might actually take a look at that.
Yeah, do your
Get off the
forecast,
air.
and then we'll sign up for
Okay.
when we can do that.
Good beach weather in this
Yeah,
forecast
good.
if you wanted to make it out to the lake or something like that, at least locally. But anyway, highs continuing in the 90s upstate all week long. We will cool to the 80s by the look of things on Sunday, so not a dramatic drop. Each day of the week, as you can see there, also for this final week of July, featuring at least a chance for isolated to scattered thunderstorms. So do the usual, stay cool, stay hydrated, keep a watchful eye on the skies. Highs to that same stretch in the mountains will consistently hit the mid-upper 80s. You'll have that daily chance for storms too. And be especially careful today, as some of the storms may have a greater potential to produce some torrential rain and some localized flooding.
All right, Brian, we thank you so much. To the folks at home, coming up next on Fox Carolina, we've got the Wendy Williams Show at 10. That's in about 4 minutes or so. Then stay tuned for The Real. That's coming up after at 11. But we do want to thank you so much for being with us. And do not forget to join us this afternoon at 4, 5, and 6. We hope y'all have a great day. And as we leave you with this live view. I believe this is North Myrtle Beach, looking absolutely stunning. Again, it is that beach kind of weather, so get out there and beat the heat. Good vibes, good vibes. I'm telling you, good vibes, good vibes. Okay, 3, 2. Hey everyone, it's Ashley Garrett with The Morning News on Fox Carolina. Coming up tomorrow, lots of excitement surrounding the Panthers reporting to training camp. We'll tell you everything you need to know. This, plus some new and fun things to do across the area. Brian.
Ashley, the hot, humid weather continuing as we roll through, of course, today and on into the remainder of the work week here. We'll also take a closer look at the potential for some ongoing storms here and there and take all of your outdoor activities forecast into consideration, too. That tomorrow morning when you join us starting at 4:30.
All right, check. in 3, 2. On the Money Watch, people in South Carolina will get some extra cash later this year, but it's not clear exactly how much. As part of the budget, South Carolina lawmakers decided to return $1 billion to taxpayers, but according to the state newspaper, the Department of Revenue can't determine how much each person will get until all tax returns are received. The deadline for people who filed for extensions is October 17th. Leaders say taxpayers could get as much as $800 of their money back. Well, Twitter is reporting a quarterly loss as that company tries to force a sale. The social media giant posted a $270 million second quarter loss on Friday. Revenue fell 1%. It could play into the legal battle between Twitter and billionaire Elon Musk, who wants to bail out of the $44 billion buyout offer. Twitter is taking him to court to force him to buy the company. T-Mobile has struck a deal to settle a class action lawsuit over a 2021 customer data breach. The agreement includes $350 million in claims, another $150 million for security technology, but it does not include any admission of responsibility by the company. T-Mobile admits there was a cyber attack last year. It's thought that 76 million customers had some records exposed. A final court approval of the settlement is expected in December. That is your Money Watch report. I'm Margaret Burnquist.